A very good soapy morning to you. This is now August the 15th and a wonderful Wednesday. What do I have here but a bowl of herbs and botanicals? We have chamomile, calendula, stinging nettle, there is comfrey, and mint. I want to be sure I got them all in there. I'm going to be putting these into a bag and steeping them in boiling water for about 4 hours to make a tea infusion, to make a lovely lotion. And we'll get moving on that now. Now this is a nut milk bag. It's what you use for putting almonds in, things like that, and creating nut milks. And it's perfect for doing large infusions like this. So basically it creates a giant tea bag, except it's reusable. And you can use them over and over and over again, and they don't stain, which I just love. But it's made of some kind of synthetic material, but it works perfectly. So this has been steeping with 6 bags of green organic tea, along with all those botanicals, for almost 6 hours. So wait till you see this lovely infused water here. It's just tremendous. And this will be replacing the distilled water in this particular potion that I'm making, which is basically like a body butter. I'm calling it a potion because it has all these wonderful herbs in it. The comfrey, the calendula, the chamomile, the stinging nettle, and the mint. First of all, it smells wonderful. And I'm going to tell you that after I measured out what I needed for this recipe, I poured the rest in a cup and drank it as a tea, and it was just wonderful. All I'm doing here is just squeezing out the final bits of goodness out of that bag, and then I will be pouring everything into that measuring cup there. So here you see everything divided up here. There's my tea that I mentioned. Yeah, and it really is delicious. There is a little bit of bitterness at the end from the stinging nettle, but I know how good it is for me, so I can live with it. You could put a little honey in it, and it'd be great. So what I have here is my goat milk. I have my infused tea there. And I have my oils, and my oils here it's 80% or 85% shea butter. There is 10% of hemp oil and 5% of cocoa butter. I wanted this to be a very rich, luxurious kind of lotion, cream, potion. I haven't really come up with the right name, and that's why I'm calling it a potion, because it's very thick. It's not quite like a butter, but it's very nice and luxurious on the skin. It just is wonderful. Now, in case you're wondering why I'm not wearing gloves for this is an order for someone that I know, and they're actually in the room watching me make this, and they know how clean I've kept this area and how clean I am. And I told them, I said, I'm happy to put on gloves. I do have on a face mask, though. But I'm making this custom for them. 6 containers of it. Hopefully I have some left over. Now, I've also made some more of this up, which I'll be putting in my Etsy store the day before. About 12 or 15 jars of this that I'll be putting up on the store, so you'll have a chance to get some of this too. So right here, these are my it's my tea, my infused tea with my herbs. It's the oils, The wax is in with the oils, by the way. The soy wax is melted in there, and now I'm just adding in my goat milk. And you'll notice there's no seizing going on here because I had everything at about the same temperature. Warm. Because it's warm here right now. Now there in that little glass container by the main bowl there is my preservative and the lavender essential oil. And there is a good amount of that. I wanted something that screamed lavender, and since this has an infusion of lavender in it too, adding the lavender essential oil really brings out those wonderful lavender notes in this. So a lot of this is mixing. As a matter of fact, I go back and forth between this little hand mixer and the immersion blender because I really want this good and thick. Now this particular potion is wonderful for, well, just about anything. As an after shaving cream, as a just overall wonderful luxurious moisturizer. But keep in mind, because of those herbal infusions that are in it, it also has some possible healing qualities. Do your research on comfrey and stinging nettle. I think you might be pleasantly surprised at the information that you find. And now I don't have any scientific claims to make about these because I personally only have my own experiences to go from. And from my own personal experience, these herbs are amazing. And what I should do is actually present some articles to you in one of my upcoming videos. There are really some wonderful college studies that have been done on these things, some real scientific studies that have been done that I think would be very helpful. Now throughout this I checked the temperature because I started out at a warm temperature, and so it's still liquidy obviously. Until it starts cooling down does it start to thicken up really. But I'm constantly checking it and mixing, continually mixing to make sure that it's fully emulsified. Now while there's no trace in lotion, you can start to see lines on the top, very similar to trace in soap, when you know that it's thick enough. So I have my 6 8-ounce containers here, and just like you've seen in other videos here, I'm ladling in the lotion into each of these containers. Now, depending on the amount of emulsifying wax that you use, whether that be beeswax, whether it be soy wax, or any other type of wax, the thickness, the hardness of your particular lotion or salve or balm or whatever it is that you're making can be adjusted. And the same is true of what I'm doing here. I generally use whatever the recommended amount of wax is for these type of lotions and creams. I don't go over that amount. I would rather reduce the amount of something else, but never the water. The water in lotions and creams and things like this is really the most important part because your skin is, well, water permeable. And the water is what carries in those wonderful nutrients from the herbs and the lotion into your skin. If you just put shea butter on top of your skin, it kind of just sits on top of the skin and can take a while to actually absorb into your skin if it does at all. And actually, shea butter, I'm talking about just using raw shea butter, raw cocoa butter, any of those things, can actually kind of smothers your skin so that it can't properly breathe. So you need water. So be careful about cutting back water in your lotions and these sort of things. There are other adjustments that you can make. Sometimes it's just a matter of following a good recipe. And the base of my recipe is one that my mother used, and I've modified it. Certainly, I've changed oils, I've changed the types of waxes. They didn't have soy wax back when my mother was alive. She used beeswax, and there are other differences. The type of essential oils, or you could use fragrance oils, but make sure they are skin safe for this kind of product. But I just adore making these things because they're things that make people feel good. They certainly make me feel good. So I'm getting the last jar here filled, and then anything that's left over I'm just going to put in another jar and keep for myself. Someone has paid for this in advance, and he and his wife are actually sitting just a few I got tongue-tied, a few feet from me watching. And you've been very quiet. Thank you. All right. So, and I haven't forgot, by the way, about doing a live feed. The only reason I haven't is craziness at work. Things are just really busy right now, and I haven't worked it in. And I know there are plenty of other people that are doing them, and I do want to. And I think something like this would work really well in a live show, because you don't have to wait for soap to saponify, right? So I want to thank you all so much. And if you would answer me a question in the comments, please. This is another contest question, very similar to the rain story question. My question is this. If you could get a massage, and let's keep this PG, please. If you get a massage, what is your favorite type of music to listen to? This is something I'm asking for a good reason. So if you were to go to a spa somewhere and get a massage, what would you want to hear? Do you want to hear rock? Do you want to hear soft music? Do you want to hear classical? Do you want to hear blues, jazz, hip hop? It's different for each of us, right? So I'm just interested. And you can actually answer an overall question about just what kind of music you like to listen to. I personally love all kinds of music, every kind. There's a little bit of country that I like, a little bit of hip hop that I like, rock that I like. I was raised by my mother listening to gospel music from like Mahalia Jackson. We listened to that. Aretha Franklin, Sarah Vaughan records, Ella Fitzgerald, Bessie Smith. And this is the stuff that I loved still today. But I have very eclectic tastes in music. Anyway, I want to thank you all so much. You are just a wonderful group of people. We're a very small little channel, and I love our little channel. And I owe a lot of that to each of you. I love coming here and doing these videos because of the feedback that I get from you. So I just pop some labels on these. In that little jar back there is just what was left over. But these are ready to go. I'm going to be putting these in a burlap bag and handing them to my guests and spending their money. And this is just what was left over that I keep. Great stuff. So thanks again, everyone. Have a fantastic, good soapy morning, good soapy afternoon, and a good soapy evening. And I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great one. Goodbye.